Low wages, high cost of living, didn't study enough. The system is rigged. Too many loans, no inheritance. These are some of the most common reasons people give for why they aren't wealthy. And to be fair, most of them aren't wrong. Some people do start with advantages others never had. None of this is imaginary. But here's a question that quietly breaks the story. If these were the only reasons, why do some people still move forward under the same conditions while others remain stuck for decades? That question makes people uncomfortable because it points somewhere deeper than money. It points toward the mind. Now look at two people. Same degree, same office, same role, roughly the same salary. They sit a few desks apart, complain about the same things, laugh at the same jokes. From the outside, they look identical, but give it 5 or 10 years. One feels calmer, more buffered, less reactive. The other feels like they're constantly catching up, always one unexpected expense away from stress. Not because one is smarter, not because one works harder. So what changed? To understand that, you have to stop looking at money as numbers and start looking at money as a psychological environment. When money is tight, the brain doesn't fail loudly. It narrows. Bills don't shout. They hum in the background. Rent sits quietly in the mind like an open tab. Every purchase carries a calculation. Every delay carries a risk. Psychologists call this scarcity load. Not poverty, not failure, load. The brain has a limited amount of attention and working memory. Scarcity quietly occupies a large portion of it. You're still intelligent, still capable, but part of your mental bandwidth is permanently busy. It's like running your life with dozens of apps open in the background. Nothing crashes, but everything slows down. And when thinking slows down, behavior changes. Not dramatically, subtly. You begin prioritizing what feels urgent. Food, rent, bills. Not because you don't care about the future, but because urgency crowds it out. Saving doesn't disappear as a value. It disappears as a priority. Planning feels fragile because experience has taught you that plans get interrupted. And slowly, without noticing, your time horizon shortens. This is where most people misunderstand behavior. They assume poor planning causes financial trouble, but often financial pressure causes poor planning. When income is unstable, the future starts to feel unreliable, and unreliable futures don't feel worth sacrificing for. Why save if something always comes up? Why delay comfort if stress has been constant? So when money finally arrives, the mind doesn't think strategy, it thinks relief. This part matters, because relief isn't greed, it's regulation. Under stress, the brain looks for dopamine, the chemical associated with reward, motivation, and release. Buying something, ordering food, taking a short-term loan, each one delivers a small emotional exhale. For a moment, the pressure drops, and the brain learns quickly, not consciously, chemically. This made things feel better. Dopamine doesn't care about next month, it cares about right now. So scarcity trains the brain to value relief over patience. Not once, repeatedly. From the outside, this looks like impulsive behavior. From the inside, it feels like survival. And this is where modern life quietly amplifies the problem. Because today, comparison never turns off. You scroll through social media and see people your age traveling, upgrading, celebrating. You don't know their debts. You don't see their stress. You just see progress. And without realizing it, your brain starts calculating. I'm behind. I should be doing better. I need to catch up. This isn't vanity, it's social alignment. People don't spend to show off. They spend to feel normal, to not feel left out, to not feel like life is passing them by. So decisions get made faster. Loans feel justified. Spending feels urgent, not because the person wants luxury, but because they want relief from comparison. And over time, these moments stack. Small decisions made under pressure become patterns. Patterns become habits. Habits quietly shape identity. I'm just bad with money. I can't save. Something always goes wrong. This isn't self-awareness, it's adaptation. And society often makes this worse. We tell people to be disciplined, to learn financial literacy, to make better choices. But education systems rarely teach how money interacts with psychology. We teach people how to earn, not how stress changes decision-making. No one explains how debt alters risk perception, how income volatility shortens time horizons, how constant pressure reduces cognitive performance. People graduate knowing formulas, but not their own behavioral blind spots. Into that gap step flashy promises, get-rich-quick schemes, false urgency, limited time, act now. These messages don't target intelligence, they target scarcity-shaped brains. Urgency feels familiar, hope feels necessary. Scams don't sell logic, they sell relief. And when someone has been under pressure for years, relief sounds like progress. Over time, another shift happens. Quieter but more damaging. People stop believing effort reliably produces outcomes. Not consciously, subtly. Plans get interrupted too often. Emergencies rewrite intentions. Progress feels temporary. Psychologists call this learned helplessness. From the outside, it looks like giving up. From the inside, it feels like conserving energy. Why invest effort if results feel random? This is where the two people from the same office fully diverge. Not because one discovered a secret, but because one slowly built buffers, financial and psychological, that reduce pressure. Less pressure creates more mental bandwidth. More bandwidth improves timing. Better timing compounds. The other remains stuck in a reactive loop, not because of character, but because of environment. For most of human history, it wasn't intelligence that determined who accumulated wealth. It was stability. Those with predictable resources could think long-term. Those without had to focus on survival. That pattern hasn't disappeared. It's just modernized. This is how poverty becomes generational. Not through bad values, not through lack of effort, but through inherited cognitive environments. People raised under scarcity don't just inherit fewer resources. They inherit urgency-first thinking, short horizons, a belief that planning is fragile. These behaviors make sense where they were learned, but the environment rarely changes fast enough to reward different behavior. So the cycle repeats, quietly. Here's the part that reframes everything. Poverty is not just a lack of money. It is a mental context that reshapes how the brain evaluates time, risk, and relief. This is why earning more helps, but doesn't automatically solve everything. Because money can change circumstances faster than it changes neural habits. Once you see this, judgment becomes difficult. Sudden decisions start looking chemical. Bad timing starts looking structural. Repeated mistakes start looking trained. Wealth stops looking like intelligence alone. It starts looking like a state where the brain has room to think long-term. And poverty stops looking like failure. It looks like a mind doing exactly what it learned to do under pressure. Survive today, even if tomorrow keeps paying the price. That's the quiet edge. Not advice, not motivation, just seeing the pattern clearly enough to understand why money changes lives, not only by increasing income, but by changing how the brain experiences time itself.